In this video, we're going to show you how to install the fuel filler neck on your Toyota RAV4 located on the rear of the vehicle. Open up the driver's door, locate your fuel door release, pull that up. With the door unlatched, go ahead and flip that open. Using a 21mm socket, go ahead and loosen and remove your lug nuts. On our particular vehicle, it has a locking key. I'm going to go ahead and loosen and remove that one first. Now, if your vehicle has the center cap, you can do this without removing the center cap. Ours is missing. Once the lug nuts are removed, go ahead and remove the wheel and set it aside. With the wheel removed, it's going to allow us to access the splash shield right here, and there are 3 10mm bolts holding this in place. Go ahead and zip those out. Go ahead and grab that liner and just remove that. Now, we removed our 3 bolts from our fuel filler neck for the splash shield. All 3 of our bolts broke. It is not the end of the world. We're simply going to replace these. They're a standard 10mm bolt to go into these here. The brackets are part of the fuel filler neck assembly, so you're just going to need to replace the hardware if this happened to you. Now, holding our fuel filler neck to the inside of the wheel well are 2 12mm bolts. There's one down here, and then there's one roughly almost up at 12 o'clock up in the top portion of the wheel well. I did spray these down with some rust penetrant and let them sit for a little bit because these here you do not want to break. So we've let them soak for a little bit. Let's go ahead and loosen and remove these. Underneath the vehicle, we have the fuel filling tubes that come down right here, and they attach. One is just a squeeze clamp here. This one here is a hose clamp. I'm going to go ahead and spray things down with some rust penetrant and just soak everything. Try and keep everything, or try and loosen things up. I'm using a 10mm on this hose clamp. Now, this is an old clamp. You may have to source a replacement. Ours looks like it's loosening okay right now. But if it does look rusty, you might want to consider replacing that just as a safety precaution. Okay, now we have that loose. I'm going to slide that forward. We have the clamp right here. Before we separate these here, number one, you want to make sure that you work in a ventilated area, not enclosed. The second thing that I'm going to do is when I separate these here, I'm going to take gloves and I'm going to slip them over the fuel tank side, and I'm going to use some tie straps to secure them. That's going to help eliminate the tank vapors from leaking out while we're working on the rest of the filler neck stuff, and it'll kind of keep the air somewhat clean at that point. So let's go ahead and continue. Now, right here we have a fuel line coming over to a flex hose, and this clip we have to disconnect. So we did spray down some penetrant to try and break up any of the debris in there. Gonna soak it in some solvent to get rid of some of the dirt. Now, this clip is going to release coming towards us. There's a tab on the top and the bottom. So sometimes you can just push that with your hand. You might need an assistance of a pocket screwdriver. Let's go ahead and release the hard line from this plastic retaining block. You're just going to push it in and then pull it down underneath. It's going to allow us some flexibility to work with the line itself. Go ahead and release that and slide that over. Now it's held on, there's a solid ring right here, so you can't drop that off. On the top of this connector, there are 2 spring-loaded tabs. And these tabs tend to get crunchy with debris. Want to be careful with this. Remove that. Underneath here, we use our pick. I'm just going to do this to try and break that seal, and do the same one on the hose behind it. Now we have a little bit of fuel seepage here, but there should be a minimal amount of fuel. We did put a catch can underneath it to catch any fuel. Make sure you're wearing safety glasses when doing this here as well. And once again, make sure your ventilation is proper. Now I'm going to take a glove, slide this over the fuel hose to the tank. I'm going to use a securing strap, and what this is going to do is help keep vapors from hopefully from escaping and stinking up our work area. Snug that down, and I'm also going to put one on the other hose as well, right behind it. With everything disconnected on our hose except for up top, we're going to now go ahead and reach up, loosen our fuel cap. Now we're going to reach up inside the wheel well, and we're going to grab the filler neck, and we're going to wiggle this out of the rubber grommet. And there you have it. We will be reusing this locking clip here, so slide this off. We want to go ahead and spray this with some solvent, clean out all that debris to make it easier for installation. Before we install this onto the filler neck assembly, we're going to install the complete unit itself and then slip this on afterwards. And slide that filler neck up into the body. And once it's up in the body, we can now feed the hard lines through the wheel well area here. Just pop that up into place. I'm going to take our hose clamp and slide that on there. And I positioned it so that the screw is on the bottom side. It's going to be easier to work with. And then we have our hose clamp here. We'll slide that over. Let's go ahead and work this guy on. Push that on. Use your pliers to position that. Get that secured. Okay, want to go ahead and snug that down. Now let's go ahead and line up the lower portion of our filler neck here. I'm going to put the bolt through the bracket and then kind of push this up into place. Get that bolt lined up, we'll start that. Before I tighten this, I'm going to move up top and we want to get that bolt installed. Go ahead and get that bolt started here. Snug that down. Go ahead and snap that hard line into the unit there. You're going to take your locking clip, slide that over, install the flex hose. Snap that into place. You want to make sure that you feel it in here, lock in. Give it a good tug to make sure that it's secured. I'm going to slide this back and over. Push that over and then push that on to secure that. Go ahead and install your gas cap. Install your fender liner. And get our lower bolt lined up. We did have to source replacement 10 mil bolts. I'm not going to tighten that yet. I want to get all three of these installed and then we'll come back and snug them down. Grab your wheel, line that up. Let's install the lug nuts. Once we get all these installed, we'll go ahead and snug them down. Now our particular vehicle has a wheel lock on it, so we're going to tighten that one first and we're going to torque it to 76 foot-pounds. Now if your particular vehicle has the center cap, simply go ahead and snap that onto the front.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.